Hello team, today's challenge is Schema Validator Part 2. So yesterday we did a Schema Validator where it only had one property that looked like this. This is Schema Validator Part 1. We had one property and we built some code. Today we are extending on that by having multiple keys, okay? Multiple properties that we need to verify. And different types of properties. Before it was just a string. Now we have number and Boolean. We're going to take care of all of this, okay? So if we copy and paste this into our code, if you remember from yesterday, I set up a const of default schema, just like this, and made that the object. And then I went in here. We can multi-cursor this just to make it a little easier and quote these out because these are our types, right? When we use type of in JavaScript, these will work for us, right? And then we get into the code. And jumping over to our other code, you might remember that we had a test, right, to make sure that the object was actually an object. And then we passed in the default schema as schema so that they could pass in any schema, right? We try to make it as flexible as possible. And then from there, we iterated on those schema keys. So we got the keys out of the schema, in this case, just the one, username, and did an every where we tested to make sure that key existed inside of object. Very important because of our undefined. Go watch the video if you need to catch up on that. And then if it does exist, we check the type of that key and make sure that it is equal to whatever the actual defined type of that key is, okay? So we can jump with this right over to our code, and thankfully they use the exact same function name, so we can just replace this. And the question becomes, what do we need to change, right? Well, spoiler alert, we don't need to change anything because we thought ahead. We thought, hey, you know, they might want to add more later on. We thought to loop over that and run some tests, and everything just works, right? And in fact, if I jump over here and grab my test my test string, right, and bring that over, there should be a comma here, pasting that in, cleaning it up a little bit. Well, now things fail because, again, we don't have that undefined, right? So everything else that is false should continue to pass because it fails, right? That's the hope. But these two truthy ones don't, and that's because this test doesn't exist in there. Definitely doesn't have undefined, and now it works. Okay, so a very short one because again, we thought about this in a way where we've already set up that code, right? We didn't have to make any changes to this code because we took a few seconds and said, what if, right? And so we planned ahead. We said, because they're feeding us an object, they're probably going to add in other property types later on. So we got way out in front yesterday, and we can use that exact same code today. Okay. Hopefully that was a quick run through, right? If you want the full rundown on this whole object, go watch that video again. But otherwise, for today, let me know what did you think of this? Were you surprised that we didn't have to change anything in here? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you come up with a different way? All those standard ones. Again, not every solution, just hopefully one good solution. So let me know all that stuff in the comments. Otherwise, today this has been Schema Validator Part 2, and I will see you tomorrow.